Wand in a nutshell. Any questions? No, but really, does anyone know in the audience, besides Helen, what Wand was originally founded as?
Women's Action for Nuclear Disarmament.
Oh, Bob got it. Good job. So WAND was founded by the amazing Helen Caldicott as Women's Action for Nuclear Disarmament. And we do remain true to that mission. But now, Georgia WAND is Women's Action for New Directions. And we do often go in a lot of different directions. But we're always try to stay plugged into the progressive movement, especially here in Atlanta. Our core mission is to reduce militarism and violence and redirect excessive military spending towards unmet human and environmental needs. And we do this through three main focus areas: environmental justice, of course, then peace and action, and political empowerment for women. But we know that violence in our state and in our country expands way beyond these three issues, of course. We all saw it recently with the Troy Davis tragedy. We're seeing it here with redistricting and with HB 87, and the list goes on and on. So we also try to really support and work with other groups and organizations here in Atlanta that are doing solid work on these issues. So issues like that and environmental justice issues, like Nuclear Watch South. Glenn Carroll's here tonight. Yay, Glenn. Friends of the Earth, and so many others. We're also part of Georgia Peace and Justice Coalition. They do really great work. And they, along with WAND and a lot of other groups, have been working really hard to put together an event every single night this week, starting right now with this one, to mark the 10th anniversary of the Afghanistan war, which is on Friday. So a lot of you are probably here because you're against the war, just like a lot of you are probably here because you're against nukes, whether it's power or weapons. And some of you maybe are here because you like the title. But whatever it is, we're glad you're here because we need everyone for this movement and to create momentum and to keep going. And WAND really sees a connection between nuclear issues and war issues. We know that when you're making nuclear power, all you have to do, and Helen may be able to speak better on this than I, is enrich a little uranium and you can make a nuclear weapon. So it's not only important to stop nuclear power in our country for the environmental needs, but also to stop this endless war. So a lot of you I know are veterans on this issue, on nukes and on war, and I think what we've seen since the election of President Obama is a real shift in the war movement. And now what we're seeing is the momentum picking up, and people are really changing the way they do their activism. We're seeing that in Wall Street right now and in other solidarity movements across the country. And WAND really supports people to become active politically on the issues that you care about. So we really support you getting in the streets, and we'll tell you how you can do that. Or if you prefer to change the system other ways, we support you in that too, in voting and lobbying and talking to your congresspeople, and we can tell you how to do that. So now I would like to introduce someone who's done it all, who has protested, who has been to jail, who has driven the Central Presbyterian bus to the polls with people. Bobby Paul, Georgia WAND and
Courtney's what it's all about. Yeah. Future. Could I have the house lights up just a little? Is there someone in the booth? Thank you. So I can see you all. We've known Helen for several years. I first heard about Helen Caldicott when I was running a professional theater in St. Petersburg, Florida, and Washington, D.C. And one night some people came to talk about this in 1980, about this group called WAND. And I kind of stored it in the back of my mind. And little did I know that a year later I would be moving to Atlanta to be with my husband and our 3-week-old son to a city that I knew nothing about. And And then years later, when that son and another son started to get a little older and didn't need me as much, I was drawn to WAND through Bobby Wren Banks, who is here tonight, and many of those of you who are in this audience. It has spoken to me. I think Helen's message is more passionate than ever, and I know you're going to hear from her tonight. And her bio is in the program, so I'm not going to go over that. She was just on WRFG. And I would like to bring some people up because, Helen, we'd like to just do a little tribute to you. And with apologies to Sam Cooke, we would like to serenade you. So if Bill Fleming and Betsy Rivard and Diane Valentin could join me on stage. If you have any extra donations, we could use a better stand. Okay, so are we ready? Don't know much about cesium.
Don't know much about strontium. Don't know much about tritium.
Or what to do with plutonium. But we know that if we don't compose substances of which we can't dispose, what a wonderful world this would be. I don't want to wear a dosimeter.
Don't want to calculate REMs and sievers. I don't want to see no cleanup crews.
Or get zapped before I hear the news. Strong release of danger, so they say. But if we never had to fear that day, what a wonderful world this would be.
Now some folks say
Better get with the program!
nukes are with us for good.
But they just want the ionizing radiation in some other neighborhood. Atomic fission makes a lot of dough for those who never want to let it go. But we can get the heat from Earth and Sun and hook the wind to make the engines run. If common sense could only start a chain reaction of the human heart. What a wonderful world this would be. Some folks say better get with the program.
Nukes are with us for good.
Yeah, and you're gonna pay. But they just want the ionizing radiation in some other neighborhood. Atomic fission makes a lot of dough. Woo, yeah! For those who never want to let it go. But you can get the heat from Earth and Sun and hook the winds to make the engines run. If common sense could only start a chain reaction of the human heart. What a wonderful world this would be. Sing it with us, those lines. If common sense could only start a chain reaction of the human heart. What a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful world this would be. Thank you, Betsy. Thank you, Bill. We hope that you'll hear inspiring words from Helen. We're honored to have her here. She will be standing with us tomorrow at a press conference at the Capitol steps at 10. You know that. She's a dear woman. She's been my inspiration. Please welcome Helen Caldicott. Justin?
Hello.
Right. Helen would like the house lights up so she can talk with people. And I wanted to say a special thanks in all of my work to Del Hamilton of Seven Stages, and I encourage you all to come see his show, All Jazz. So please, again, Helen Caldicott.
Nice to sit down. Well, I'm a bit overwhelmed. I'm here in the presence of Bobby Wren Banks, who I met when?
85?
No, Bobby. It's earlier, I think. Anyway, so she heard me talk somewhere, I don't know where, I can't remember much, you know. And we went out for buffalo wings or some southern thing that I'd never heard of before. And I turned to her and I said, look, you're going to lead this movement, Bobby Wren. And it was, I think, just after I started WAND, which actually was called Women's Party for Survival. Initially, I called it that. And people, as we say in Australia, rubbished me. I mean, you can't have another party in America, a third party, what are you thinking of? So instead of pushing ahead, I relinquished that name and called it Women's Action for Nuclear Disarmament. But Bobby Wren is the one who started the chapter here, and she's just been in it ever since. And then along came Bobby Paul. So we've got Bobbies everywhere, left, right and centre. And it's been the most marvellous situation. I think that actually the National WAND organisation should move down here, because you're really the centre of things here, and Atlanta's the centre of what awful stuff is going on in the nuclear area. I mean, you're just near Savannah River site and Vogel and God knows what. So I salute both the Bobbies, Bobby squared. It's not 1 and 1 equals 2, it's Bobby squared. And I salute all the wonderful people here in WAND who've worked so hard and so long and had such an amazing impact. Now, I know this is supposed to be about Afghanistan, and I can talk about that too till the cars come home. And I'm not quite sure what to talk about tonight. What am I to talk about, Bobby?
Everything.
No.
The audience, you can throw it to the audience.
As my 2-year-old grandson says, no. I said, is Mummy a boy? No. He's gorgeous.
Maybe the intersection of, and especially the weapons, the toys, the drums, the bombs.
Well, Afghanistan is so dreadful. And I remember when they started using drones some years ago, and the big muckety-mucks in Washington were writing articles in the New York Times and the Washington Post saying, this is great. We won't lose American soldiers, we'll just kill the enemy. And I almost vomited. And they've got people at consoles in Florida and in California watching the drones, targeting certain things, and they get information from insurgents or spies or whatever, and they press a button and down goes a missile which blows up a wedding party or a family and children and everything. But unlike pilots that drop bombs and fly away and land on their aircraft carriers and never really see what happens, these people are watching the body parts. And they're having to get psychological counselling because it's not a very pretty sight. And it's freaking them out. Well, fancy that. I mean, isn't that